Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. We're heading closer and closer, day by day, as time passes, to a cashless society, where you don't need physical money. Which is why I find it funny that there's some pushback to this concept in, of all places, Ripple's backyard, San Francisco. Before we get going here, if you would please give me a thumbs up, just delicately tap it, and if you would also consider subscribing, I'd definitely really appreciate that. I appreciate all the support I get on this channel here. So here's what I'm going to start out with today. This is from sfgate.com, titled, "Cash is Still King. San Francisco to ban credit-only stores." And you can see there's a picture right here. It says, it shows a little paper that was plastered up around the window. It says, "Just a friendly reminder, we do not accept cash. We do accept all cards, Apple, and Samsung Pay." So the piece starts out stating, San Francisco is about to require brick-and-mortar retailers to take cash as payment, joining Philadelphia and New Jersey in banning a growing paperless practice that critics say discriminates against low-income people who may not have access to credit cards. The Board of Supervisors will take up the issue at a meeting Tuesday, and it's likely to pass with nearly all 11 members listed as sponsors or co-sponsors. I don't know about you guys, but let me tell you my personal opinion when it comes to paper money. I mean, I'll tell you, just a couple days ago I was at my local grocery store, and this woman in front of me did something that I hadn't seen done since like 1985, which is she busted out physical money to pay for her transaction. And then when people do this, it's funny, it typically holds up the line, especially when people bring into the transaction something worse than paper money, which is metallic currency. Yes, little round metal coins that people carry out of their pockets and their purses and jingle them around, and then they throw them down and they have to slowly count them. And this just happened the other day. I don't normally see this. Almost everybody where I live, at least, is using either a credit or a debit card for smooth transactions, Apple Pay, whatever. And so I was like, wow, what a throwback this is. How quaint. and she was an older lady, so nothing against her, but it is just one of those like little irritations in life where it's like, we're back to that, because it's not exactly jumping on the bandwagon of technology, right? And so it's exciting to think as it pertains to cryptocurrency and what people are doing to progress as a society on a technological level. We're trying to eliminate cash and coins, and that's why it's so funny to me that I'm seeing this article, because San Francisco, that's where Ripple's headquarters is located, and right there, while they're trying to streamline payments and make them as quick as fast as possible, and really help usher in a new age of payments, here we have the people running the city being like, yeah, but the paper's pretty good. You know, the lower income people want it, the homeless people, which they're trying to clean up that whole thing. And San Francisco, what a mess. What a frickin' mess. And so, a lot of this, as I read through this, it's kind of more of like a, if I were going to comment on it, I'd be afraid of getting too much into the political waters, which is not the purpose of this channel. Which is why, instead of getting into that too heavily, I shared a personal anecdote about how I don't like physical money. I don't like the paper money. I don't like the metallic currency. No thank you. But this is worth reading, and I just find it comical, juxtapose this piece and the position here with paper money to what Ripple's doing. So you guys can tell me what you think, but I'll tell you, regardless, in the future, can you imagine, whether it's 20, 30, 40, 50 years out, at some point, no one is going to be using physical money. It's who is going to want to use it? Nobody's going to want to use it. Whether it's because of cryptocurrencies, we've eliminated the issue of people being unbanked. It's just people need to adapt, and I can understand older generations not jumping on board as much as younger. That makes perfect sense to me. That makes absolute perfect sense. It's a lot easier to use this stuff, especially if you grow up with it. When your little 5-year-old mind's a bunch of mush and you can easily absorb new knowledge like a sponge. Okay, I get it. That's all fine. But you can throw legislation like this down, and if it passes, okay, fine. If they think that's what's best for their city, but you're not going to stop progress. And the other thing about this, as much as they want to cite this her hurting the homeless, which I think was the primary point, and they didn't really have any, like, it was more of a concern, like they didn't present proof for that. There's actually only a handful of retailers in the entire city that have become cashless, and they're still jumping on board with attacking them, which I found kind of fascinating. If there's some sort of epidemic and there were proof that people were actually being physically harmed by this or whatever, harmed in some way, well, I mean, it's always fair to have a discussion if stuff like that happens, but it's fascinating to me that in a city like this, where like technology is like way of the future, they're having discussions like this. It's just rather fascinating. So you can tell me what you guys think about that. But regardless, whether it's because of crypto or it's because of just further progression of people getting used to not using annoying physical paper money and coins, at some point I still feel pretty firmly that paper money is going to be pretty much eradicated. Nobody's going to want to use it. Next here, this is from Ripple, the Ripple Drop episode 12, and they have 3 little segments within this short video, which is only a couple minutes or so long. I enjoyed the second to the most, which I'll highlight here for you. States, we get an insider look at how RippleNet is supporting innovative mobile applications for Al Ahli, Bank of Kuwait. Chief Transformation Officer Salem Al-Saref shares how RippleNet powers on-demand payments from Kuwait to the UAE. And he actually pulls out his phone and he shows the app, and it was just kind of neat to see. And then the last little piece they cover it includes Dilip Rao. I always like hearing from Dilip Rao. What a sharp guy. He's the global head of infrastructure innovation. Dilip Rao discusses Ripple's engagement with central banks and why industry engagement with regulators helps drive adoption of blockchain and digital assets both in MENA and around the world. So I'll link to that for you guys. It's only a couple minutes or so. That's why it's called The Drop. It's tiny. It's worth watching them. I always enjoy them. This is from CoinDesk. I'm going to tie a few of these things back together, what I was talking about in the first place. Buffett calls Bitcoin a gambling device. Oh, here we go again. He's always got some fun, really insightful stuff to say about cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin, doesn't he? It starts out, Bitcoin got another bashing from the Sage of Omaha. Warren Buffett told reporters at Berkshire Hathaway's annual meeting in Omaha, Nebraska, that he still couldn't support Bitcoin. It's a gambling device. This is him speaking now. It's a gambling device. There's been a lot of frauds connected with it. There's been disappearances, so there's a lot lost on it. Bitcoin hasn't produced anything, he said. And if I could just I don't know if I can find the piece quick enough. If not, I'll just tell you what it said. But there's a piece in here, this first piece, sfgate.com, about people, that complained about some retailers not accepting cash any further. And they cited one of the reasons that it was problematic to get rid of these stores that take cash, and one of the reasons I want to insist that retailers have to accept it is because people want to, I can't remember it's in here somewhere, I promise it is. They said something about how people want to remain anonymous. I wish I could just find it real quick here. But regardless, I just found that it's funny. So Buffett's sitting here saying, there's a lot of frauds connected with it, this or that. And then meanwhile, here we have, this is actually being debated, cash money, people want to use it so that they can rename their anonymity, and there's no paper trail as to what they're purchasing. Right there. And I'm just like, because Bitcoin is not anonymous. It's pseudo-anonymous because it's, accounts are tied to other accounts and you can track where Bitcoin goes. It is not anonymous. And even if it takes some work, you could figure it out. But that's a lot harder to figure out if you're talking about paper money and metallic currency changing hands. So get with the times, Buffett, you're wrong. And then after reading that, I came across this piece, also from CoinDesk. I'm going to tie it back to the previous piece I just read about Buffett here. Report, Fidelity to roll out crypto trading within a few weeks. Financial services giant Fidelity Investments is said to be launching cryptocurrency trading service soon. A Bloomberg report on Monday, citing a person familiar with the matter, said that Fidelity will roll out the service for trading Bitcoin within a few weeks and will focus on institutional, not retail customers. Fidelity spokeswoman Arlene Roberts told Bloomberg, this is a quote now, "We currently have a select set of clients we're supporting on our platform. We will continue to roll out our services over the coming weeks and months based on our clients' needs, jurisdictions, and other factors. Currently, our service offering is focused on Bitcoin." And so I wanted to point out right here that what Fidelity is doing, according to the Sage of Omaha, Warren Buffett, They're promoting a service that so it promotes a gambling device, and it's been connected to a lot of frauds and disappearances. So this company, Fidelity, which manages something like here it is, over $7 trillion in assets under money. They're engaging with what is essentially, according to Buffett, a gambling device. And don't forget, Warren had other sweet sentiments previously, calling Bitcoin a delusion in the past last year, and rat poison squared. So that's what Fidelity is engaging in. Do you buy that? Or does this guy just not get it? Oh, Lord. What a world we live in here. So, bottom line, sum it up. I think one day we're going to be a cashless society. I don't know what's right for San Francisco right now because I don't have enough of the facts. I only have this piece that I read here, which sounded comical to me, again, just because of the nature of Ripple being in there. Then we got Buffett here saying that Bitcoin is a gambling device, and then Fidelity being like, yeah, we're gonna sell it anyway. So, whatever. Okay. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea.